A lot of your favorite content creators use the Insta360 Go to create some content. I like using the small camera, all due to the fact that how small it is. It's literally the size of my thumb. But what I like to do is just make a tutorial guide, a tips and tricks, as well as a beginner guide on everything you need to know about this very small thumb size camera. So the benefits of going with the black or the white. In short summary, it's just the black one I notice has a nice grippier texture on the side right here whenever you're holding this camera by itself like so, versus the white, sorry for tapping the camera, it's just like gloss texture, pretty slippery. This one's easier to grip, and another benefits you have here is, of course, if you wear dark clothing, it's much more easy to blend in with this versus this one, so just something to keep in mind. Also, before I continue with the overview of the UI and such, I do have timestamps in the description down below if you just want to skip to the tips and tricks stuff. But right now, let's go over the basics. Starting off with the button layout, as there's some shortcuts you need to know. So over here, this locking mechanism, if you press here, will allow you to quickly disattach your camera. And then placing it, of course, will allow it to charge. The camera itself does have a button right here with the Insta360 logo. When you press here, it will immediately start recording. And then when you attach, it will immediately transfer the recording. And then you're gonna have to tap record again from right here to end that recording. There we go. Now the power button is kind of interesting. A long hold will power off the Go 3, but a single tap will actually turn off the display if you're trying to preserve battery, but you still want your camera to be on standby. And a single tap will also reawaken it. The Q is basically your quick modes. I believe that's what they call it. But here you can switch between different preferences you already made. But you can also select the default ones like skiing, biking, outdoors, vlog, or Starfield. And if you like to create some preferences of your own, you can tap plus up here, scroll down, as there's 5 custom slots you can create and select from. And you could also go in and edit the resolution, the shooting mode, and etc. Basically custom profiles, what you're doing right here. This is super handy, especially if you're doing a lot of things with this camera. But now let's talk about the UI. Let me switch back to vlog mode. And to go back and view your photos or video you have captured, you could just slide right here and it'll actually bring you to this page. You could go back and review some of your past recording. This section right here, you can actually select multiple ones at once if you want to delete them all. You have that ability, so you don't have to always have it connected to your phone, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now let's go ahead and talk about functions or different video settings you have. So slow motion, very standard, very straightforward. The highest FPS rate you could record off this is 120. Loop recording, well, this will be ideal if you just want to continuously record. Ideally used for like dash cams as an example, where you just want it to record even if your storage is full, it's going to delete the old footage that hasn't been used and then just continually record and record. And then if we go to star lapse is pretty cool, which allows you to capture some amazing star lapse effects. This is basically how they look like. This is the mode that's used to capture something like this. Intervals basically allows you to take a photo every second, every 2 minutes, depending on the setting you select. Because right here you can go every 3 seconds, every 5 seconds, 10 seconds, all the way down up to 2 minutes. And you can change the format right here as well. HDR photo basically allows you to take high dynamic photos, just like our smartphones. You could just capture a photo like this. And then photo, standard photo, of course. You could also include RAW if you like. Video capture, very basic, very straightforward. You could change the resolution right here and increase the stabilization. If you want it to be max will be ideal for like mountain biking. High will be ideal for like small runs and such. And then standard will be good for like daily tasks. And off will be ideal to use if you have this mounted on a tripod, of course. And then if you like to manually change your camera settings, depending on the mode you're in, you can always just slide right over here and you can adjust the exposure. But from my experience, I like to always have it on auto, but you do have the ability to change the ISO and all that good stuff right here. But again, my personal experience is auto, but if you know what you're doing, I'm sure you'll have fun like adjusting all this to your own personal preference. Now this next one is free frame. Now free frame is one of those unique features that this camera has to offer, as this will allow you to capture a lot of data. So in case your subject is not within frame, it's not the end of the day, as you can go back and capture it as if it was a 360 camera. You could edit all this during post, and I'll show you in a little bit how. And then yes, it also supports horizon lock too. So if you're in landscape mode, but you have regrets, you wish you were in portrait mode, you can always go back and post and actually change the ratio on demand. I'll show you all that in a little bit. By sliding down, this will give you quick access to your control center. And the overview is this. This will be your orientation lock, very similar to our iPhones. When you enable this, it's not gonna flip or anything like that. It will stay. The quick capture setting, I like having this on because by having this on, a single press will allow this camera to immediately start recording, bypassing the need to turn on the camera entirely. A double tap will actually take me to the freeze frame video. So you could go in here and actually customize the different modes that you like that's available. Or you could actually customize it even more by enabling custom, and you can actually change the preference, resolution, and stuff that you want it to do whenever you activate the quick action mode, quick capture, I'm sorry. So having this enabled will also draw more battery when this camera is on standby. Just letting you know. And then the next thing will be lock screen. So now the screen is locked. So even if you accidentally tap the display, nothing's gonna get adjusted unless you swipe up to unlock. Now below that is voice commands. Whenever you enable voice control, you can select the 2 languages that's available, and then you just scroll down and you can see like the type of commands you could tell it. The benefits of this, one thing I like, let me show you. If we go back, start recording. It immediately starts recording, and we can always say stop recording. All right, by having 2 Insta360s or more, if you enable voice control on all of them and you put them in the same modes, like we have video and we both say start recording, they immediately will start recording this way without needing to buy that Bluetooth remote. But then you could have used your voice to turn that off as well. Also, you can also charge your Insta360 Go at the same time while you're recording. So if you have like a battery bank or a power outlet available on hand and you like to squeeze more battery out of that, you can always just do that. And then next to that, it will be your volume control. You could raise or lower the feedback sound. I always have it, I think medium's like the best one. That's my personal preference. Pre-record. When you enable this, this will actually record 10 to 30 seconds of the video before you press the shutter button. So by enabling this, this will mean that the action camera will still be continuously recording every, depending on the setting you select. If you select 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or 30 seconds, whatever you select and you hit start recording, the camera is constantly recording. So in case you missed something that happened that previous second, it's likely to be captured thanks to this. And now keep in mind, again, this will eat up battery life, so just keep that in mind, but it's definitely a useful feature, especially if you're snowboarding. Now next to that would be your screen brightness adjuster. For this camera, I noticed it picks up the screen a lot better when it's on its lowest. Maybe we could bump it up just a tad bit like that. And then next to that is the time recording. Time capture is what they call it here. So this basically allows you to actually set this camera to record automatically at a certain time. So if you like to put this on a tripod as an example, you like to capture the sunrise, you go in here and it will tell you the current time. So it is in military time. So if you liked it to start capturing around 14 o'clock, like right here, now if I leave this camera by itself, depending on the mode that I last left it on, so here you can actually set the mode you like to record, as well as the resolution, the FOB, as well as the duration. You can also adjust the duration from here. But now, by enabling this, and you set the camera down somewhere, it will automatically start recording at that time. So 14 o'clock is what we last left it on. It even tells you the time that you set it as well. And then the next window right here will be your Bluetooth remote. So the Bluetooth remote that looks to be compatible with this is currently this one from Insta360. And then there's also this remote right here, which I have it except my Insta360 Ace Pro. Currently, at the time of this video, it's not yet compatible, but Insta360 description on Amazon hint that it will be, hopefully, will be compatible on the Go 3, as they are continuously updating these with firmware updates. So hopefully in the near future, the Insta360 Go will become compatible for the remote, Bluetooth remote. But of course, you can always just use your iPhone to control it wirelessly this way as well. But I'll go more in detail in just a little bit on how you can actually let your Apple Watch control it as well. And then next to that will be your wind audio settings. So if it's a windy environment, outdoors typically, wind reduction will be your best option. If you're indoors, stereo of course. And if you're doing like a one-person interview, like you just have the camera in front of you while you're talking with the screen facing up, consider tapping on direction focus. And then over here will be your rule of thirds, so you can see if your subject is in frame or not. And then next to that would be your settings, which will just give you access to your camera settings, general. Like if you don't want it to vibrate whenever you tap on a feedback, your LED indicator, your auto sleep, you could adjust that all right here, as well as manage your storage. You can also format your camera right here. Then in video bitrate, I do have it on high instead of standard. The benefits of having it on high, if you have it on high, basically it'll allow you to capture more data when you're recording video in general. But if you don't really care about that, you're satisfied with the standard, definitely do experiment and see which one's your preference. But for professionals out there, we always consider high because we have more editing power on our side. Now, video sharpness, I get best results from medium and high. I just recommend experimenting, recording, and see which setting is the best one for you for whenever you're using this camera. Just keep in mind, in the anti-flicker, I do recommend being aware of this at least. If you're trying to capture like headlights on a car, sometimes the auto doesn't do a good job. Go in here and just fiddle between the 50 hertz as well as the 60 hertz. But from my experience, the auto does a good job, but that one time I do have to go in here and change it manually. So you'll find it in the anti-flicker in the settings. Now let's go ahead and hop into the Insta360 Go app, as there's a couple things I want to go ahead and highlight for you. So to connect to your camera, you just tap on the shutter button right here, the little camera icon. You may need to connect by allowing you to join Wi-Fi, but we were already connected. We were just on standby. So here you can actually use this as like a preview of the camera as well. Right now I have it on Starlapse, which is why it's all white. Doesn't show us anything. And there you go. You could use this as a viewfinder. You could experiment with the different FOBs that's available right here depending on the mode you're in. So if we go on video, we have access to all of them, which includes ultra, action view, linear, or narrow. You can also adjust the stabilization right here as well, as I previously showed you. And in a low light situation, you may see like a low light icon popping up right here. You can enable it or disable it right here. The beauty about the low light stabilization, it's also available on the screen right here. Typically it's right here. It'll pop up when it's appropriate. But by enabling this, in a low light situation, it'll keep the image stable. It will adjust everything automatically, but in broad daylight, you do not want to use this. And of course, you can switch between the different modes right here. You can change the settings, very similar to stuff that we were going over earlier about the screen on this device. And if you like to jump between different modes, you can always tap on the little hamburger icons on the side and just fly around all over. And while recording in free frame, let me show you this. So I'm going to record this in free frame and that recording. Now if we go back into the album and we select that free frame image, here you have the freedom to adjust the radius. If you want it to be landscape or portrait mode, you could change it all right here. That's the beauty about this, as you do have more freedom to adjust. And if there's something that didn't came out right to your liking, you can also adjust the horizon in post. This is what I mean that we could do this. All you need to do is, right now it's glitching on me, just long hold and you could adjust it like this. So if the subject was not in frame, you have freedom to center it and then play the video and then fix your mistake. Almost like a 360 camera, which is quite brilliant about free frame roam, which is why free frame is really awesome, but also takes away a lot of extra storage if you don't use it wisely. Now you do have AI abilities and you'll find it in the edit section. Here you can select one of the pre-made ones Insta360 has for us, but you can use AI, which you'll find in the Shorts lab right here. They give you a preview on what they will do, and they're really amazing. They keep producing more and more to add in this library. So you can find some epic looking effects, things that you'll expect to find on like a subscription service, but Insta360 does it all right here. Here's an example of one of them that I previously recorded. And it does this. That's pretty trippy. That's really cool. It's amazing that this is available to us. Now, if you have an Apple Watch, you can actually connect your camera to your Apple Watch so you can actually record and then change different modes as well as adjust the settings without using your phone or physically pressing on the camera. So to accomplish this, you are required to download the Insta360 Go app on your Apple Watch, which it's the same exact app on here. And then just go ahead and go ahead and look for your camera first actually. I believe it's this one. Yeah, we are connected. So I just took a photo right now. But here, this allows me to, it unfortunately doesn't have a viewfinder, but this allows me to switch between the different modes right here, showing some resolution, and then I could slide to like select standard recording. And in the video, I could use digital crown to go down and select the other video modes that it has. The same video modes we were just going over not too long ago. And you can tap capture. It will show you the storage availability, the battery life percentage. Just again, it just does not have a viewfinder, unfortunately. That's the only drawback to this, but I like the fact that it's quick, it's responsive, and it works. Now, unfortunately, the Insta360 Go does not have support for an external microphone. That's one of the drawbacks to this. I searched everywhere. There's videos on YouTube showing that it doesn't work. But if you need an external microphone, you could always pick up the DJI external mic, just one of these by itself. You don't have to buy like the whole bundle, because this has internal storage, allows you to record. So you can have this recording, and then this will record audio, and then during post you can synchronize the two just like that. But of course you can use other stuff like your iPhone mic or other external microphone sources, and just during post-production, that's when you want to synchronize the audio clips in case you're like interviewing somebody, as an example. So unfortunately that USB-C doesn't do that. Just one drawback, but my tip would be picking up one of these, and you'll have a nice, pleasant experience if you're doing like an interview with other people. And there we have it. That is the best settings, some cool tips and tricks, and some overview on some things you definitely should know about some cool features that the Insta360 Go 3 can do. I'll be sure to provide links to everything you've seen in today's video, as well as some recommendations on some accessories and such. So keep an eye on the video description down below to see if anything got added or new things changed. Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to watch my review of the Insta360 Go, check it out right over there where I go through additional stuff you may want to check out, like the wind reduction noise, how that actually looks like in the real world. I cover all that and more. Thank you so much for watching.